So I made a video about this glorious article where Japanese companies are saying that localizers are ordering them around, and localizers are these incredibly intelligent people which believe that because liberal perverts in Hollywood can't be normal and they have to be criminals like Harvey Weinstein, right? And they started the Me Too movement. And because of that, people in Japan have to make sure that their video game characters don't have cleavage, right? No, seriously, like this is liberal logic, okay? This is the localizers that give us wisdom. It's in the article. They literally say this, right? Because of the Me Too movement. Right, so like the liberal perverts in Hollywood, all of them, Democrats support, all of them, voting for Joe Biden, all of them dislike Trump, right? And they have like this weird culture that is completely separated than the average American because all of them are multi-millionaires and billionaires. And because they can't stop themselves from being criminals, right? Like Harvey Weinstein got convicted. Because of that, we can't get anime titties from Japan, right? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't, because you're a moron, all right? You're stupid, you're uneducated, all right? Go get some gender studies degree and then come back over here so we can have a conversation like normal people. Like, you need to study in the academia at Berkeley University in order to understand the deeper and more intricate knowledge of culture. But anyway, right, so this article comes out, and many people were like, well, it has to do with ESG, right? Like the ESG bucks have finally arrived in Japan. And many people are like, oh my God, you see ESG everywhere. You honestly think that behind every rock, behind every stone, there is ESG. Larry Fink is in the shadows, like the Black Rock. The Black Rock is there, isn't it, right? You're crazy. You're crazy. You see ESG everywhere. When the answer is much more simple. It's just like Japanese companies are finally growing up. They're finally maturing. Like they understand that their culture is for a wider audience, right? Like your grandmother should now play the video game Yakuza because Yakuza is for everybody now. So your grandfather, your grandmother, they should play Street Fighter. They should enjoy, right? Because now they have removed the titties from there. So it's just like a natural progression of things. It's not that this is anything to do with ESG. No. It's just like this is normal. This is for a healthy Japanese society. Asmongold himself, I think, he was making fun of the concept. ESG. You guys, you see ESG everywhere. It has nothing to do with... Oh, I see. Oh, Naruhodo intensifies. Oh, don't believe your eyes, okay? Believe the fact checker. Right? It's got absolutely nothing to do with ESG. It's got nothing to do with Larry Fink. If you do not know who Larry Fink is, he is the head of BlackRock, and he actually had an interview, and he was like, we must instill behaviors in people. We must instill behaviors, right? So like using the money, but by saying, hey, if you instill the behaviors that we want you to have, then you get cheap loans. And all of a sudden, all the companies are like, oh, of course, yeah, cover that titty. That is a shameful display. Oh, yeah. For the wider audience, yeah, like hire more progressive people from California, yeah. Localizers. What do we need to do in our games? Yeah, what makes Larry Fink happy? Add more divorce. Oh, yeah, like... bioengineer the character. Take a character from a previous IP and now we bioengineer him and we skin swap him into body type B. It is so boring, isn't it, at this point, right? The sad part with this is it's not even about entertainment. Like, it's not even about video games, all jokes aside. You notice that what this does is it makes the companies care more about the investors than they care about their customers. And unfortunately, the investors and the customers have completely different agendas. The customers just want to be entertained, while the investors want the companies to lecture the customers. And the people that push for wokeness are some of the most toxic human beings on earth. I mean, you go on their Twitter, they are condescending, they are rude, they are disrespectful. Like, literally everything that you as a company do not want to have in your relationship with the customers. And unfortunately, these people represent the customers. And on top of that, they're not skilled. Like, you constantly notice, if they were skilled, they wouldn't have to go through the back door through woke initiatives. They would just get through the front door because of merit. So you end up with these video games that are buggy, that are unsuccessful, and they go broke. Now, if video game companies go broke, I mean, it's already bad for the economy. We saw what happened with China when they started fucking with their entertainment, and they were losing billions of dollars. Like, the Chinese government had to stop cracking down on video games because it is a big chunk of the economy, whether you like it or not. So, when video games go broke, it's not good. But it's not really that impactful. The problem is, like, everything that ESG touches turns to shit. And even, like, when you look at nations in Africa that have high ESG score, they also come hand in hand with huge poverty, civil unrest. Now, the problem is that when you look at America's Fortune 500, all of them are woke. All of them are deep into this ESG shit. And all of them are starting to lose money. All of them are firing people. All of them aren't doing financially well. And the problem with it is that a lot of people have their pension money invested in these 500 companies, right? Like the Fortune 500. Historically speaking, they have always offered the best return on investment. If these companies fall like dominoes, it's going to be really, really bad. Not just for America, right? And not just for the people that have their pension money invested there. But it's going to be like an economic collapse, unlike we have ever experienced in our lifetimes. So that is what really concerns me. Right? So I don't know what's going to happen. But in 10 years from now, Jesus. If things are going the same way they are going, you can't have a business if you don't care about the customer. Because the investor doesn't just give you free money, right? Like, the investor gives you money, but you have to pay it back. And at the end of the day, you can please the investor all you want and you can get that loan, but like, what do you do when you have to pay it back? Because the problem is that if the customer ain't happy, you're not going to sell your game. And these Japanese companies right now, they're not going broke. They're still selling shit because it still operates on inertia. Like, you guys remember when Western video games started going woke. Like, it takes a while until it reaches the BioWare and Blizzard level. It can probably take like 10 years or so, until you get to the Forspoken of the video game industry. But unfortunately, yeah, I do think that Japan is heading there. And, on one hand, you have like the silver, which is like, hey, you join the ESG team, you do the content that we want, and you're going to get money and be rewarded. And on the other one, you have the lead. Like, there's already banks that do not want to do business with companies that are promoting eroge content, which is quite concerning because this is something that Visa and MasterCard did in the West, right? Like, there were Japanese eroge creators saying that they can't open a bank account. Like, we're not talking about loans. We're talking about the fact that they cannot open a bank account, which is very concerning because, again, like, why does a bank even care what you do, right? Like, normally, banks only care what you do when you want to make a loan. So, like, if I want to make a loan from a bank, they will say, like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to write a book. Ah, perfect. What is it about, right? And they look at the market and then they judge whether or not I get the loan. But in this situation, it seems that now banks are like, okay, I want to open an account. Oh, but what does your business do? Like, oh, but you're making video games. What type of video games? Tell us about. Like, that is very concerning, right? Especially in a world that is moving towards CBDC and cashless societies and shit. So it's either you get on board with the ESG shit, or you may get debanked. That's pretty much how it's going right now. And I'm not very optimistic about it. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.